when you were originally sentenced on the charge in 2004, what sentence did you receive?
I received 12 years on the first count and life on the second count.
Do you mean life on the second count? You only have one. I mean, what?
Well, excuse me. Well, the way that St. Tammany had sentenced me to 12 and run a concurrent with the life sentence as a habitual offender.
Well, when did you get habitual offender?
2004, I believe it was, or 17.
But I'm showing you only have one burglary conviction. You originally got 12 years, and then in 2017, they came back and treated you as a habitual offender.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, you only have one burglary.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So how much time had you served on that burglary in 2017 before they upped your sentence? How much time did you serve?
Altogether, I've done 20 on that same charge.
Okay, don't worry.
I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have two charges. You got two sentences on the same charge. I think you were originally sentenced to 12 years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'm confused because,
What's confusing you? Help me understand what's confusing you.
well, when I went to court, I had two counts. They sentenced me to 12 years on the first count, and then they multi-billed me on the second count. I mean, unless,
I see.
Because they have two charges.
But they're the same number. They're the same number.
Really, because one of them is at a boat launch or something, and one of them is in a parking lot.
Mm-hmm. You had originally gotten, but they didn't multi-bill you until 2017 on the second count, right?
no, ma'am. I was originally sentenced on the habitual offender in, it was January, I think it was January, and then I went back to court and got resentenced as a third offender.
When did you go back to, how long after that did you go back to court?
13 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
Hey, Ms. Jackson, originally, he is sentenced under 2 counts of simple burglary under docket 354193, and that was in 04. Then they came back in 2017 on count 1. They separated count 1 under the same docket and multi-billed him to life under count 1 and left count 2 with the 12 years from 04.
Right, so he had been in prison 13 years before they came back and treated him as a habitual offender, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were committing vehicle burglaries, is that right? Breaking in people's cars?
Yes, ma'am.
What was causing you to break into people's cars? Why were you doing that?
I believe I had a substance abuse at the time.
What kind of drugs were you on?
Cocaine. I can't remember exactly.
Do you have any kind of learning disability?
Not that I'm aware of, I believe.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, ma'am.
How far did you go in high school?
I went to 7th grade in junior high.
Okay. And why did you drop out?
To be honest, I really don't know. sandblasting.
Okay. Were you married? Did you have any family, have any children?
Got one child, a son. He's grown now.
Okay.
But I've never been married.
Well, let's talk about what you've been doing over the last 20 years.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Bahashim Racha Hakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren. Shalom and salute to you, other fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you, affiliate camps. Shalom to you, few sisters, and shalom, which goes to peace, to the elect. So anyway, I ran across this video, popped up, and this man, he kind of reminds me of Paul Newman, if anyone of you saw that old movie, Cool Hand Luke. That was a pretty good movie. He was stubborn, right? But this is who this guy remind me of. But anyway, this guy has a drug addiction, right? He's breaking in cars, and which is wicked, you know. But he's breaking in cars, but he has this drug addiction, which is another form of mental impairment, plagued with demons. Okay, and then if you paid attention, they gave him 2 charges to run consecutive, where one was a 12-year charge for breaking in. I think they caught him like one time, right? And then they poured on a second charge years later and hit him with 17 more years on top of the 12 or something like that. Or in 2017, they hit him with another charge. And he wound up doing over 20 years for a simple burglary in a car. Now, of course, we don't condone thievery and burglary or anything else, right? But Proverbs 29 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Now, real quick, now according to Exodus, it says, Exodus 22, if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and for a sheep for a sheep. So this man is supposed to be ordered restitution to pay back what he wrongfully stole. Now, it's ironic because we were stolen and brought here. And what does the scripture says? The scripture says, if a man stealeth a man and selleth him, he shall be put to death. I believe that's what the scripture says. And we were clearly stolen. And this guy, I don't know if he's a Jake. You know, I don't know what he is or who he is. But he's definitely under a curse. Right? That's for damn sure. He hasn't finished 7th grade. So the system, the world that he knew never did well for him. Right? But then there's a other part of the world that tells you to get out and vote, get out and make a difference, make a change. But none of these people that teach or promote this kind of, you know, this type of lifestyle or the way of life, they're not doing anything. You know, these politicians are continually stealing the money, stealing people, taxpayers' dollars, right? They're charging you for things and surplus charges, right? Somehow, if you Amazon shop or whatever else you shop, you got to be very careful because they might charge you an extra 10 cents on something that you didn't have any business being charged on. And you do millions of orders like that, right? Thousands of orders even. They making millions of dollars off of scheming off of the top. The reason why I'm saying that, because I'm starting to see more and more homeless people. We're seeing the time of Jacob's trouble. We're seeing a whole lot of things that start happening. And the whole point of prison was pretty much to take people off the street, because some Jake need to be off the street. But it was all cheap labor. Why hire when you can do cheap labor? I believe they used to do the license plates. Anyway, I'm not going to make this video long. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. It's kind of crazy, this situation that this guy is in. Let me see here. Isaiah 10:1. Let me go to, 1 Kings 17:1. 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 1 Kings let me go to the ISV version, right? It says, how terrible it will be for the one who enacts unjust decrees, for those who write oppressive laws that they have prescribed, right? You know, determining what charge prescription, like when you get a prescription, right? And they'll determine on what charges you need to be charged on. And then they make these laws. As I've talked to some form of lawyers in the past, and I always ask them, if a young woman who's 14, 15 years old laid down, now again, I'm not about doing that, I'm just saying, according to the laws that are set up. In the ancient times, Isaac was a 40-year-old man with a 13, 14-year-old young woman. Now, if this same 14-year-old woman, right, lays with a 21-year-old man, they charge him with statutory rape. Yeah, they do. And I think all the states, if she's 14, right? But the same 14-year-old, now she's not responsible, as they say. She doesn't know what's going on. Although in the world they say it's all about equality, right? But for whatever reason, she doesn't know what's going on, right? And it's proven that young women develop very well because of nurturing in children, right? But anyway, she doesn't know what's going on because she laid with this 20-year-old man. But when she laid with the 16-year-old man as well, she then knew what she was doing. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know why that's even a charge. I'm just saying, to be in general. Now, again, in this society, we follow laws and we say not to do that. I'm just saying, shouldn't she have some form of responsibility in laying with that 21-year-old man, if that's illegal, even to laying with a 15, 16-year-old man? Now, you might say, okay, it's a different situation. But again, this same 14-year-old woman can stab and kill her mama, and then she knows what she's doing. So the point is, she didn't know what she was doing when she laid with the 20-year-old man. He got the charge. But then she knows what she's doing when she goes stab someone up. Again, just like the military, you can't drink till you're 21, but you can enlist to shoot and kill people. These are the things what we call unrighteous decrees, right? This is how it goes. An 18, 19-year-old man should be able to have a drink. He's a grown man. And then where do you determine when someone is grown? Okay, there's laws of the Bible on that. But I just wanted to touch on that. These are unrighteous decrees. Matthew 2:1. Woe to those who devise iniquity and plot evil on their beds, right? At morning light, they accomplish it because the power is in their hands. Now, you got to know that this isn't the only man, that this may have happened to. They got a lot of men. I was in and out of jail when I was younger for years. And they trumped up a charge on me, almost $250,000 bail. And the lawyer said, well, damn, what did you do? Try to murder someone? I said, no. I mean, did you murder someone? I said, no. I mean, I was in the streets like that, but I didn't deserve a $250 million bail or something with no evidence. But this is what they do because they don't care about you jakes. So in other words, if you look at, I can't remember his name. He was the one responsible. Well, let me look up decree first. Goes to statutes, something prescribed statutes, like we have statutes and laws, right? I'm trying to remember this man's name during the time of Vietnam. And what they did, they would hire, his name began with an N, I think. They would go recruit disabled men, right, who didn't have any educational background. They couldn't read. And half these men, they didn't even know that they were in the Vietnam War. They didn't even know they were being trained to go kill. And they just gave them guns and put on a helmet and told them go fight. Right? This is what they were doing. These were them unrighteous decrees. And this is why we say what this man is and why we call him what we call him. Right? How are you going to take disabled? I think his name was McNamara. Let me see real quick. Is it Robert? Yeah, Robert McNamara, right? It says, this is what they did, right? The United States Secretary of Defense was responsible for Project 100,000, right? A program that recruited men with low mental or medical scores to fight in the Vietnam War, right? So they would have got this guy right out of jail, right? And had him fight the war for their freedom. And remember, going back to the 1700s, you know, they take slaves, you want to be free, right? And that's all going to happen again. This is why I'm bringing this up. When the Lord bring them to the valley of Yahweh's judgment, right, they're going to recruit them right out of jail. And a lot of them got low IQs. I also found out if you had a felony gun conviction, but you never really shot anyone, they're putting a gun in your hand to go guard a prison. Anyway, the program was launched in October. This goes to that movie, if you watch that movie, with Tom Hanks and the other guy, the other Jake, right? I can't remember the name of that movie. But it was Tom Hanks and the other guy, Forrest Gump. That's what that movie was about. Those two men, they had low IQs. That was going into Robert McNamara. In October 1966, addressing increasing more manpower needs of the U.S. government involvement in war. McNamara and President Johnson, right, wanted to avoid angering the middle class by drafting college students or sending National Guardsmen reservists to Vietnam. So this is, if you on disability now, they're going to recruit that. It's a possibility. I'm just saying, according to the video, according to history, it's a possibility that they might reactivate the McNamara 100,000 program. I'm just saying. This is what we just read in Micah 2:1. Woe to them who devise iniquities and plot evil on their beds, and at morning light they accomplish it because the power is in their hands. Right? This is what it is. And this is what happened to this man. He got a taste of the 100,000 Club program. They recruited him as cheap labor off the streets because he was uneducated and a drug addict. Yeah. This is why, right, the Lord is going to set his men up, starting with Yahweh, his son Yahweh Shah in the house of David, and the prophets, the 144,000, to set the earth back in order the way it should be ran. Right? It's got, it can't get worse than this, but it will get worse than this. This is what we're telling you. It's going to get a whole lot worse. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.